Hi, this is TJ with the Premier Trader University, netpicks.com, and the Trend Jumper Trading Strategy. I thought I would walk through this week's trades with the Euro-Yen. It's a 5-minute chart. We day trade this every day in our live trade room. Forex has really opened up lately. You can see with the dollar strengthening that many pairs are finally moving after many months of low volatility, low range, and real sluggish price action. We're finally starting to get some really great movement. The Euro-Yen, in my opinion, is the best day trade pair. In fact, it's probably, in my opinion, it's the only pair I would really want to focus on for day trading Forex. There's so many amazing choices for day trading with futures, but with Forex, there's just not a lot of opportunity that you can consistently rely on. But the Euro-Yen is the exception. This particular pair continues to make new record profit levels with this trade plan that I'm going to show you over the last several weeks. It's gained over 1,000 pips. And this week was no exception. It ended the week really strong, gaining 225 pips. So let's take a look at this week's trades. Now, for those of you who are not familiar with the Trend Jumper, I'll give you a really quick 1 or 2 minute lesson on how it works, okay? And then that way you can follow along as I step through the trades. This is a customized plan. Whenever I show the Trend Jumper, 95% of what I show is the same plan. It's standardized and it works across many different markets. But with the Euro-Yen and the 5-minute chart, we've done a few things to make it more effective. This dotted line here, that's called the jump line. It's a very powerful indicator. It tells us momentum. It gives us near-term support and resistance levels that we could trade off of. And it also tells us the direction of the trade. When you get a trade setup that's above the bar, like in this case here, it means you're going long. All you have to do is click on the bar. You get the entire trade laid out before you. Your entry, your targets, your stops. Of course, when you're going short, you click on the bar and the setup is below the bar. The little plus sign is your entry. Okay, there's your stop. All right, that's it. I mean, it's really simple. Of course, there are rules that we follow. One of the problems with Forex is that you have to deal with spread, and because the volatility has been so low, the targeting has also become very small. And with the Euro-Yen, we have to adjust for that. When we have a small target, we will ignore the dots on the chart and we will actually project bigger targets. Okay, and there are rules to this trade plan. Basically, if the middle target isn't a certain distance, then we're going to go with a 15 pip target. Okay, and then we're also going to project out 25 pips for a second position. With Trend Jumper, we're actually splitting our position. We're going to take 1/3 of our profit off at the middle target, 1/3 of our profit at the third target, and then we're going to trail this purple line for the remainder. Okay, so just follow along and you'll see how it works. Now, this trade plan starts at 8:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's when we start looking for trades. So I rolled back the clock to Monday, the 22nd of September, and we'll just go through and see what happens. You can see there's some nice trades early on, but this is before our trade time. In fact, I haven't even gotten out of bed yet. I'm on the West Coast. So we just patiently wait. We come in, start our computer, get our morning cup of coffee, and then it's 8:20. We have a setup right here. And we know we're going short. We got the whole trade. Notice that the entry is at 140.02. Just round that extra digit. And it's only going for 6 pips. I mean, it's not even worth our time. So if this trade triggers in, we're going to subtract 17 pips. And when the bid hits that 17 pip level below, we will assume a 2-pip spread. We'll make our 15 pips for that middle target. Okay, so instead of going for 96, we'll subtract it from 02. We'll end up going for 85, and then we'll be out at 87 for 15 pips. And we'll also go for 75, and we'll be out at 77 for 25 pips. Okay, and I realize I'm talking fast, but you'll see how this works. And it does trigger in, so this is the first trade of the week. And we can go ahead and take a horizontal line and put it down here at 85 just to kind of mark our first target. So that's our first target down here. Now you can trade this with NinjaTrader or MT4. I just prefer TradeStation because it's easier to maneuver and it's the platform that I use. Trend Jumper also lets you build your position. This trade plan allows you to add one additional position to your trade. You could literally take another trade right here. There are a few rules that dictate whether or not we can do this. In this case, we're allowed to. So at 840, we can certainly get short again. And again, it's a real small trade, so we have to subtract our 17 pips and 27 pips from the entry to get our two targets for the second position. Okay, now that one never, let's see, we're supposed to get in at 96. And it does trigger in and then stops out. Unfortunately, that ends up being a losing trade. And in fact, this trade ends up stopping out as well. So at times, we're going to have to stop and reverse. And normally, we would stop and reverse on this entry here. And of course, you could see that there's quite a bit of noise and the market's pretty much moving sideways and range bound. This in itself is an illustration of why day trading is so difficult, because this is very common with forex day trading. In this case, we did not have to stop and reverse, and the reason why is because a news release was coming out. Okay, new home sales, and we're not going to trade or change anything into a news release. We're just going to stay with our original trade, try to weather the storm. Okay, it's still going to end up stopping out. We might pick up this long trade after waiting a certain amount of time before getting into this trade, but you can see that it stopped out down here and no real chance to grab this trade. So we just let that one go. And now we're just waiting for another setup. Okay, so we start the week with a couple losing trades. Hey, you know, it's trading. That happens. The next trade was this short at 950. And it's at 140 even. So I would put the entry in at 139.99. We definitely work around key levels. Okay. So this one gets short, and it gets short at 139.99. Can we go to the middle target? No, we still have to project down 17 pips and 27 pips. Okay, and it goes, keeps going. We can add to our position right here. You can see that it went down. It actually hit quite a few targets here. We hit our 15 and 25 pip target level on the blue trade. It went as low as 84 and 74, which means it got to 82 and 72. So right here it hits 80. So that's filling. When it hit 82, it filled at 84. And then down here it got to 72. You can see it got to 71 even. So that filled that one at 74. So that's a 15 and 25 pip target level. With the second trade, that also hit some targets. That one was able to get 12 and 15 pips. Then we're trailing the purple line, and the purple line ends up going all the way down to here and stopping out finally. Okay, it didn't stop out here because it didn't poke through far enough. We trail a couple pips above the line. Okay, so when it finally stopped out, the blue trade made an additional 21 pips, and the pink trade made an additional 15 pips. All in all, after netting out the losses and the wins, this session finished with a 28 pip profit, which is pretty modest, but it's still a positive result. Now, this is a standard trend jumper. This is how we teach it and trade it in the trade room. But we are on the eve of starting another round of Premier Trader University Advanced Training. And with that comes the Trend Jumper Pro Plus tool set, which is very powerful with a lot of additional capabilities added to the Trend Jumper tool set. So I thought what I would do is show you the same trade. Maybe if we'll finish the video showing you the Pro Plus, I've modified this trade plan so that when the targets are too small, it will know to move it down that 17 and 27 pip level. So for example, there's a trade there. There's a trade there, and you'll see there's a lot more dots on the chart. That's because there's trade tracking capabilities with the Pro Plus. It's tracking the first trade. You can see that the stop doesn't move until finally it gets down and pushes through that middle target. Now the stop is starting to trail the purple line, okay? And notice that it hits the middle target at the level I told you. Now it hit it at 82, right? So when the bid hits 82, we just assume we're filled at 84 because we have to pay the 2 pips spread. You're always paying the spread on the buy side of the trade. So when you're exiting a short trade, you're literally buying back the position to go flat, right? So that's where you pay the spread. And then here you can see it hit the 72, getting filled at 74 type of thing. Now, of course, spread's always changing, and we could just make an estimate that it was 2 pips. If you have a good broker, that's a reasonable amount of spread to pay for the euro yen. Another reason we like day trading this pair, because the spreads are typically very low. And notice that the purple line gets trailed and the dot follows it down, down, finally stops out right there, and we're done. The 28 pip session. So let's move on to the next session. All right, so we approach it the same way every day. The trade plan is very clear. We're looking for 820, and it happens right here. You can see there's a trade at 825. Does get short. You can see the targets have already been projected. So with the Pro Plus, we don't have to worry about whether they're too small or not. If the targets are too small, it's going to dynamically and automatically put them where they're supposed to go. That's one of the great things about the Pro Plus, is all the additional intelligence that's built into it. We're not going to add to our position here. It doesn't fit the criteria that we're looking for. So you can see that that trade's a loss. And it looks like we have a setup here to go long with this 9 o'clock bar. And it takes several bars, but ultimately it cancels. And you could tell it cancels because the little entry sign goes away. Okay? And instead you get this setup bar here. And this one comes a little bit too late. That one triggers in, but it's going to actually stop out. And that's literally the last trade of the day. So this is a losing session. And again, we're not stopping and reversing, although it looks like that might have been a good thing to do. But there's a rule that prevented us from actually taking the position in the other direction. Okay, this yellow line, when it's coming up and we're long, we're going to stay with the long trade and we're not going to flip over to short. So you can see there's a lot of trade setups, but none of them we're taking. So one of the things that you have to realize with the trend jumper is that one of the things that makes it work so well are the rules that we follow. It's going to show us a lot of setups, but it doesn't mean we're interested in them. So it's really important that you understand the rules of the trade plan. All right, so the first 2 days, pretty lackluster. This one lost about 88 pips on the session. Yesterday, Monday, made 28 pips, so we're still down on the week. Let's see what happens on Wednesday. And Wednesday opens up looking pretty bad. I mean, this looks like a terrible chart. I never want to trade a chart like this. In fact, up to this point, just looking at the euro yen, you might think, gosh, is this the only good day trade forex chart? I mean, it doesn't look very good. And I'd have to agree it doesn't. And quite often, it's just how it is. The euro yen is going to go through periods of not looking very good, but it's very explosive. And so we focus on the time of day when those explosive moves typically happen, and we ignore all this. This is all during the time of day that we're not interested in. And that's one of the secrets to being successful with forex, is knowing when not to trade. Okay, because with forex being a 24-hour market practically, you know, most failing forex traders, and maybe a few are succeeding even, live with their charts 24/7. They're waking up in the middle of the night to execute trades. They're pulling off the freeway because their cell phone is beeping at them that they have to place a trade through their broker. In my opinion, that's a terrible way to trade, and you end up losing to the markets, because yeah, maybe you could do that successfully for a while. You might make a little money. You might make a lot of money if you're really good at it, but the expense that you pay is the freedom of your life. And for me, that's just no reason to trade. I trade personally to improve my lifestyle, and I don't want to live like that. So for me, trading forex is all about trading less, not more, and just trading during the smartest times of day. And you'll see how this works, because like I said, it ended up gaining well over 200 pips this week and over 1,000 pips this last month, and new record profit levels, a trade plan that has been working now for nearly 2 straight years. Okay, and that says a lot if you consider all the changing market conditions over the last couple years, and this plan still keeps working. Even though when you look at a chart like this, you want to run for cover. I don't blame you. But let's just go on and you'll see. So we're looking for a trade at 820. Okay, now there's a setup here at 745. Can we take this trade? Well, at 820, let's see where we're at. This is the 820 bar, and we're way down here. We're not going to chase this trade. If it comes back and hits our entry, we can take it as long as it hasn't hit a money management level or it hasn't stopped out. And it comes down and hits target 1. And then it comes down further. And so our first trade of the day is actually this trade, because it never does come back up to the entry. And this is one of the reasons that we have Trend Jumper showing all these setups, because all these setups are different types of setups, right? None of these are any good, but this isn't when we're trading. But we are trading here, and we take this trade because that's the first trade of the day right there. And since I already taught you the Trend Jumper, you should know that we're going short. You click on the red bar, there's your entry. Here's our target 1. Really, it says target 2, but that's where we're taking off a third of our position. That's where we're taking off the second third, and then we're trailing the purple line. And it heads lower. And can we take this trade as an add-on trade? Actually, we can. That fits within the rules we're looking for. I'm not explaining you the rules in detail. Just don't see the point. That's all taught in the Owners Club to Trend Jumper members. Just suffice it to say that we can add to our position on this first new setup after our original setup. Okay? And so that one gets short at 139.34. And again, you can see your targets, and you know what you're going to do. There's nothing new to learn. You just execute the trades. And this one comes down, hits the middle target, hits the third target, hits this middle target, gets close to this third target. Both positions are trailing the purple line. Okay, we got our trailing indicator. You can see the dots trailing down. Finally, it pushes through and it hits that third target there. Can we add more positions? This trade plan is just not that aggressive. One of the things taught in the training is how you can establish for yourself your own rules and your own trade plan. There are some traders that will add another position. In this case, it would have worked out great, but that's just not what we're doing. Keeping it simple. Ultimately, it stops out right there. And that's a really great trade. And I just wrote the totals on here. You could see how we got our 15 or 25 pip targets, and the trailer, which stopped out here, was 21 pips. And on the second trade, our 15, I put the numbers to the right here, are 25, and then that trailer stopped out actually where the other one did for 16 pips. And it all ended up being a 117 pip morning. This is what we love about the EJ. So I'll just quickly go through Thursday and Friday, and then I think you'll get the idea of how this works, why we trade it, and how we use the Trend Jumper with the Pro Plus tool set. All right, so Thursday the 25th, 8:20 happens. We have the setup to go long. But what happens at 8:30 in the morning New York time on Thursdays? Well, we get some red labeled reports coming out. We get unemployment, we get durable goods. We're not going to be trading through those reports, so we're going to ignore this trade. Okay, so the first trade actually is this short right here, and it gets short, and that's a full 35 minutes after the report. 138.89. Looks like it stops out, but if you look at the number, it really doesn't. The stop is at 97. See this yellow line here? We're always going to make minor adjustments around those lines. So this stop is adjusted a pip above the yellow line. Okay, the lines that we use for the Trend Jumper are showing us near-term support and resistance levels. We don't want to put our stop right below resistance. We're going to put it a little bit above. Okay, someone could make the argument that you can get it above this level here and actually above 139 all the way up to there. I wouldn't actually blame you for doing that, except that we don't make stop adjustments that are that large with the Trend Jumper. Okay, we just don't. We want to keep them reasonable. We'll make the small adjustment to there. Either way, it works. We could literally add to our position here. The rules allow us to. And you could see the targets being hit for 15 pips, 25 pips, 15 pips on the second trade. The stop is now trailing the purple line. It ultimately works its way down and hits the 25 pip level on the second trade. Both positions are trailing all the way down, and they stop out. This stop is actually adjusted up above, so we take the stop right there at 138.61, which means out at 138.63. And this entire trade was good for 129 pips. So we're getting swing trade results with a day trade plan using the Euro-Yen 5-minute chart. All right, let's just look at Friday and then we'll sum this video up. All right, so we got this trade at 8:05 and we can get in sync with it, right? Because at 8:20, actually at 8:20 it had already traded through. And so when it comes back down, that's at 8:30 and that's during a major news release, the final GDP. Remember, forex is very sensitive to economic reports, and so we avoid this trade because we're not going to trade it in front of a red labeled news report. Okay, when I say red labeled, we're following the calendar on the forexfactory.com, and if we see a red or orange label report, we're not going to trade into those reports. Okay, so we end up avoiding that trade. I just can't stress how important it is to follow the rules of the trade plan. You can see the market reacting to news. We avoid the trade. And after waiting our 5 minutes, we could actually get short here. And it looks like it's going to stop out. It comes up. It's a pretty messy chart so far. But look at how it worked its way down. The stop holds. And we could actually take an add-on trade. Not the blue one, the pink one right there. So we could add to our position. And it spikes through. Still hasn't hit our target where we're going to exit. It's making progress, but it did go far enough for the stop to move down. Notice the stop moved down to start cutting risk. Now it's starting to go, see? So finally it breaks through and it hits this target here for 15 pips, this target here for 25 pips, just barely. Look how perfect that is. And on the second trade we hit the 15 pip target. Not quite the 25 pip, but when we get that close, we're going to manage this trade. It's Friday, we're going to be aggressive, so if it doesn't go lower, we're going to get out at the middle target with that second third, okay, because we want to make this a good trade. And so that one only ends up getting the middle target on the first third and second third, okay, and then the rest of the trade stops out right here. And that's a pretty good trade. All this adds up to 88 pips. And I just recalculated the weekly totals because I had forgotten to post a couple of those trailers from the day before. So it ended up earning 257 pips on the week. 257 pips. You could see there were a few losing trades in there, but this is what we do every day, the same trade plan. We already know what our approach is going to be. We approach the session the same way every day. And within a few hours, we can be done with our day trading, and we're often posting swing trade results, and we don't have to live 24/7 in front of our forex charts. I hope you enjoyed this video on day trading the Euro-Yen 5-minute chart with the trend jumper trading strategy. For more information, please feel free to visit our website. I've put it on the post that you'll see the link. You can go to netpicks.com, or you can go to the ptutrendjumper.com blog. Thanks for joining me, everybody. This is TJ. See you on the next video.